Hello, I am the oh so serious one who sometimes cares a little bit too much what you think. I'm Michelle Welch.
I'm not the serious one. I don't give a damn what you think. Roger Welch. So what's up today, Michelle?
So, what today we have with us a very special guest. You guys were sort of maybe anticipating Carrie Paris to be on today, and Carrie is going to be rescheduling with us today for another date. Something came up unexpectedly, and I promise you guys she will be on, but she is actually friends with our guest that we have on, and Arwen. We have Arwen Lynch-Poe on with us today. And Arwen, I want you to know that Carrie texted me a few minutes ago and said, thank you so much for coming on. And we were going to have you on at a different date, but for coming on sooner with such short notice. She really appreciates it. So, yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and read the bio
Okay.
for Arwen. I might hand it over to you and let you read part of it.
Tell us all about Arwen.
Okay. So you guys, first of all, I just want to tell you, we met Arwen a couple years ago, and we kind of feel like we met her a long time before that. Like, how long does it feel like we've known her?
Oof, years, centuries. Oh,
What?
okay, maybe a few years.
Maybe not centuries. All right. So Arwen is a professional joy seeker. Arwen Lynch-Poe has been teaching writers how to use tarot since 2009. In 2015, she added teaching intuitive tarot. She is the author of several decks, including The Fairy Tale Lenormand, Secrets of the Mystic Grove, which we have here, Bianco Nero Tarot, I said that funny, Tarot, Practical Tarot Wisdom, El Key Oracle, and the Field Guide to Guarding Dragons Oracle. Past president of the American Tarot Association from 2007 to 2014. That's a long time, Arwen. Arwen enjoys educating and networking with others. That's very true. Her own business, Tarot by Arwen, has been around since 1985. She first started reading for friends in 1980. She is also published in fiction as Mary Lou Mann. When she combined tarot with writing, two loves came together in one very happy marriage. She is now the editor-in-chief and the owner of The Cartomancer, an award-winning quarterly print and digital magazine. She just won another award that we're going to talk about in a little while. As a tarot consultant, Arwen sees her approach to tarot as Jungian with a healthy dose of self-responsibility. She sees the tarot as a tool to help see things that need to be seen. Rather than doing strictly divination-based readings, you will be gently guided to take charge of your own life. Fair warning, Arwen shoots straight. So there may be cussing. That's okay. Her goal is to help you find your joy and keep it. You can find her at www.tarotbyarwen, that's ARWEN.com, and www.thecartomancer.com, and we will put that in the chat and also on Facebook for you guys. Hello, Arwen. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Michelle and Roger, thank you so much for having me. Carrie texted me as well to thank me, and it's no big deal. I love jumping in, and what y'all need to know is that I actually tripped Carrie. No, shoved her out of the way.
Hold up.
But I'm happy to be here.
So, wait, I did not know there was another name for Arwen. What's this other name? How did I miss this?
Mary Lou Mann.
Mary Lou? I'm going to start calling you Mary Lou now.
That was my mama's name, and Mann is the last name of my writing partner. And we write together, so we're Mary Lou Mann.
Awesome.
Right. So, Arwen, we are so glad you're on. We've been trying to have you on for a long time, but you're so busy because you do, there's so many other things that you do that you haven't listed on here. You review decks every day. You're always doing critiques of tarot decks and books, and are you still doing that? You pretty much have done that for a long time. There's so many other.
I do it some. I just got a brand new deck, the Soul Tarot, or the Slow Tarot. I'm thinking SoulWhat. So I'm looking forward to doing a flip through this. It's all shiny because it's still in its plastic.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I love talking about tarot, and even if it's a deck I can't read with, it's still 78 pieces of art. I've got like, you know, close to 1,000 miniature art galleries.
So are you say you shoot really straight in readings, and there may be cussing, and I believe that you're a very honest person. Are you super honest in your critiques of decks? Are you nice?
Yes, I am, but I don't want to be mean, because just because I don't like a deck doesn't mean it's not a good deck. It just means it's not an Arwen deck.
Good point.
So just like I don't like raspberries and lima beans, not together, of course, but even separately, I'll pass on any kind of raspberry dessert, and it may be the best stuff in the world. Not my flavor.
Right. I agree with that. Because it's the same thing, I think, with readers, too. Because people sometimes will insult or say, oh, that person's not a good reader in our store or something. And then the very next person will walk in and go, oh, that person's a great reader. Nothing about ethics, but just about, ethics is a different story, but about something, just the type of style they have. And the next person will absolutely think they're great,
Exactly. I tell people that not every pot fits every lid, or vice versa. And if I get somebody and they ask me a question, just had one a month or so ago, they had a question about something that I don't read on. So I hooked them up with a friend who does it and loves it, and gave them a great reading.
Exactly.
So I feel like we need to, that's one of the reasons I like to network. If I want somebody to have a great chakra reading and get a cool bracelet, I know where to send them now.
Thank you. Thank you. So I have a question about your magazine, about Cartomancer. When did you decide? I know that you bought that from you bought it at some point, and I think we were becoming friends at that point. First of all, tell people what a cartomancer is, and what cartomancy is, because some of our listeners may not know. They're not all familiar with tarot. They're not all familiar with card readings. So if you would tell them what cartomancy is, and then tell them a little bit about your magazine.
Okay, I'm having a little trouble hearing, but
Roger, why don't you ask her?
I think what you asked me is what the cartomancer does, or what the subject matter is.
So with the magazine, how explain to people the meaning behind the magazine, and the name of Cartomancer.
So again, I apologize. The audio is being a little funky on my end, of course. I think we're coming into a Mercury retrograde, of course. The Cartomancer, I bought the Cartomancer from the DeForest, who live out in Portland, and they do the Newts conference. And I bought it from them in 2017, and have been yapping about it to everybody. And we do articles on, we've had astrology, tarot, Lenormand, or if you're a purist, Lenormand, and oracles. I'm trying to get somebody to write an article on bone divination, casting. So divination, just different ways to do it. I'd love to branch out into astrology, numerology, all of these things. Did I answer the question?
Ask her also, what is cartomancy?
So what do you define cartomancy as?
Cartomancy is the act of reading cards.
Yeah,
And
because
it could be
go ahead.
any kind of card. I think traditionally it was for playing cards, which I don't have my playing card deck here. My husband and I usually keep it in the bedroom so that we love to play gin rummy. But that's what cartomancy originally was. It was just the act of reading playing cards.
Well, that's the thing, because and let me know if you can't hear me. I'm trying to speak up where you can hear me. I'm not quite sure what the issue is. But a lot of our listeners, that's why they don't necessarily know about tarot or cartomancy. We're having a lot of people that are new to almost everything. So that's why I had you explain that. And so I know you've done decks of tarot and Lenormand. Could you just give us a short explanation of the difference and similarities between those type of decks?
Yeah, I tell people there's Lenormand, Oracle, and Tarot. And I think of it like language. I think of Lenormand as English, it's pretty straightforward. The words are there, you just say it. Tarot is a little more French. You have a little more meanings thrown in, a little more folderol, if you will. And Oracle is like Chinese. It's really a broad-based system. So Lenormand is 36 or 52. It's either the petite or the grand. And petite Lenormand is what I normally know. And the meanings are set. The ring means one thing. The writer means another. The ring and the writer and the book have a set meaning. And so you don't really branch out. You don't do a lot of intuitive stuff. Now, there are people bringing intuition into Lenormand, like Ronald George and some other people. Then tarot is very organized as well. It has 22 major arcana, and those are major archetypes, if you like. And then and I talk with my hands, so I'm always like this, sorry. Then there are 4 suits, and each suit has 14 cards. They have ace through 4 court cards. The courts can be named differently. Traditional is page, knight, queen, king. Oracle is really anything. You can go into a museum and do oracle work and just look at a picture, think about a problem, walk through the museum and wait till a painting hits you and go, wow, Monet's water lilies. That means I need to go take a bath. It's very open to interpretation and what symbols mean to you. Because, you know, I could tell you that dogs mean loyalty. They do in Lenormand. They mean friend. But to some people, dogs mean scary things. It doesn't mean it matter if they're little cute fluffies or great big, you know, Great Danes. If they had a bad experience with a dog, nothing is going to make them re-see a dog as a good thing.
Good point.
And that's where oracles kind of have a little more freedom. Does that make sense?
Yes, very good. Thank you for that. It's interesting. I wanted to tell everybody that's listening that we just saw each other. So we literally saw each other like a day ago. How was your drive home?
You know what? It was very good to the last 3 miles, and then I just wanted to fall over. I was so tired.
Yeah, I'm glad you made it safely. We came back to Dallas. Dallas had horrible storms. Really, really bad. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, there's still people with power out here.
There's people out of their homes.
People
There's
still living in a hotel and just the grocery stores. There's businesses without it, you know, without power. It's just amazing. And then there's
I know it took the U.S. Games folks 13 hours instead of the 4 hours they expected.
oh wow,
right.
So
Yeah.
I don't know but they went out on Monday. Did y'all fly out on Monday as well?
Monday night.
Monday night, we had no problems.
Yeah,
whatsoever.
no problem. Straight in.
Yeah.
Got in late.
Well, except for our bags weighed too much, but other than and we had to
Yeah.
but that's
I think Michelle brought back too many card decks.
yeah. But other than that, we no problems. But it was really we came up to the store and a big old light pole was down outside, so it's just been horrific here.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people really struggling. So, but we were in Denver, you guys, and we had a really good time. We were at a conference called INATS, which is the International New Age Trade Show, and we saw Arwen there, and there is an award ceremony for cover and
Arwen's wearing her sexy green dress.
well, I guess you can get away with saying that. Her husband might not like that, but yes, she looked really good, and so she won. Actually, her magazine won. The Cartomancer won the Bronze Award, which is a really big deal for magazines.
Yeah.
And we won some awards.
got a couple? Yeah,
So
yeah.
we won a couple of awards too. Our bracelet, the star, won an award, gold award for
on that one.
iconic jewelry, because I think anything before 2015. Yeah, and then your wonderful Florida water won bronze, and your sage spray won bronze,
Yeah.
which we can barely keep in stock. I was like, can we give that away tonight? And he was like, I don't know that I even have any made. So it's really good. Speaking of giveaways, do you want to give away really quickly? Do you want to? In order to win a prize, you guys, you have to be live. You have to be online right now, not watching later. You can be on YouTube or on one of the Facebook channels. And what do you want to ask them? They can win a star bracelet.
A star bracelet.
What we
That's
won
what
a
we
prize
wanted,
for.
gold.
We
Okay.
gold, yeah.
Oh, how about which card falls after the star card?
You can't cheat.
No cheating.
You
First
gotta-
one to
first one
respond.
to type it in.
First one, which card falls after the star card in the tarot?
Eric is asking me for the answer. I just outed you, girl.
I'm watching.
Dun, dun, dun.
Thank you, Teresa.
Did you
She's
get
not
one?
the winner. She just said congratulations on the award.
Oh, thank you. We'll have an alternative answer if no one knows. Surely somebody
Somebody
answered.
will. There's just a little bit of
There's
delay.
a little bit of a delay, so we'll get the answer to that in a second.
And
They'll
plus,
win
there's a couple
star
of people
bracelet.
making comments and stuff.
Okay. So if you want to win a star bracelet, you need to comment on the card in the tarot that comes after the star. I
Yes.
know people know that. All
I
right.
hope so.
Yeah, look at Arwen's giving you
Marie.
hints. So come on, guys. I know y'all know that one. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit today about maybe nobody wants a prize today. You think?
Maybe.
Can we answer?
Let's keep talking, and we'll.
Okay.
I bet somebody pops up here in a second and tells us which card falls after the star.
Okay, so I was going to ask you, Arwen, you do a lot of writing. And you know, there's a lot of people who say, and even in readings and things like that, you'll have a lot of people. I don't know if it's so much where I hear that people say they want to write a book. You hear that a lot. But you also hear I hear people say, well, I've been told I was supposed to write a book. You know, they get that in readings too or whatever. So there's a lot of things about people wanting to write books, or maybe they feel they're supposed to write a book. But it's really hard to write for a magazine or write an article. You do a lot of it.
Yeah.
So could you give some tips to people who, and I'm sure there's a lot of these tips out there, but give some really Arwen, straight shooting, practical tips for really how to discipline yourself to write a book or an article.
Well, there's a phrase, and it's bet you okay. Butt in the chair, hands on keyboard. Because the only way to write is to actually do it. And what happens is we have this infernal, not internal, but infernal editor. As we learned, he can be called different names, or she. And you have to get past that. You have to give yourself permission. I learned this from an author by the name of April Williams or Williamson. I'm sorry, April, I can't remember right offhand. But her workshop is all about the first draft. And give yourself permission to write crap. It's not called a polished draft. It's called a rough draft because it is rough. And so if you type, keep writing. If you write in longhand, one of the things I do when I'm writing fiction particularly is if I'm in a scene and I can't remember the heroine's eye color, happens all the time, I just put her color, eyes, and by that I mean all capital. But think about this, guys. If you wrote 1 page a day, and that's about 250, 300 words, right? In a little mass market paperback. I'm talking a fiction novel. 1 page every day. How many pages would you have at the end of the year? 350 what? Yeah. So the biggest secret is to write. And there's no real big secret formula. I have a book and a class online about how you can use tarot and the hero's journey to craft and get your rough draft going in 33 days if you do the program. But they will tell you, a professional author will tell you that if 10,000 people start a book, 1% gets to the end. And of that 1,000, 1% will actually polish it up and put it in. And of that 1%, 100, 10 of them might get looked at by an editor.
Wow.
It's hard. With self-publishing, totally changed the game, right? Now you can write a book and put it out there, but you have to have a thick skin because you have to deal with reviews. You have to deal with people that go through and point out every little error you made. So you have to edit. I can't emphasize that enough. I've read great stories that were ruined for me by lack of spelling and lack of good editing.
One of the things that sort of, can you hear me now, Arwen?
I can hear you better, yes.
Okay. One of the things that sort of bothers me a little bit is I don't mind people self-publishing, but I'll get on Kindle and I think I'm sure I could look at the page count, but I love to read. Roger can tell you. I read a lot. How many?
A book a day almost.
I think I read 2 or 3 maybe yesterday because we were flying, but
She read one on the plane back, and it was only an hour and 20-minute flight.
yeah, so I read a lot. I don't write a lot. I want to, but I don't follow what you say. But one of the things is on Kindle, and I like the hard copy, but I do get Kindle books too, is when you get a book and it's 3 pages. I call that a paper, not a book. How do you feel about that? Did you hear me? When you get a Kindle, when there's like a book on Kindle and it's only like 3, you buy it and it's 3 pages long.
Yeah, no, I look when I go on Kindle. I used to get all the free books on Kindle. I don't anymore. I'll get a sample. If I like it, I'll get more. But I've gotten a lot pickier because there's some real crap out there. I'll just go ahead and say it.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't think that's a book. That's a paper. That's a high school paper if it's 3 pages. I mean, come on.
It's a gimmick.
Yeah.
It's a gimmick. There's a lot of how to learn tarot, how to learn numerology. Look at the page count, because sometimes they pad it. They put something out that's maybe 10 pages long, and then they pad it with 10 pages of ads.
Okay.
So Amazon's actually tried to crack down on that. Yeah, I know a lot of good authors who are having to fight against that kind of stuff because they're putting stuff out that's really good, and they're charging $6 and $7, and people are like, why should I pay that much for something that's on my on my phone? They paid for professional editing,
Right.
to include a line editor, so that's 2 different editors. And that money goes to their business, right? It's like somebody coming in and saying, hey, give me that bracelet for free because it's just got a few beads in it, so you really shouldn't. They didn't cost that much.
Not to mention all the time and effort that it took.
Exactly.
To write it. And yeah. So, Roger, you have anything?
No, I'm just listening.
You're just listening?
I'm just listening.
You're just here to listen?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm here to
Did
to look
anybody
at-
ever answer that question? Okay.
Oh, yeah, Christy did. Christy knew that you had the star card, then you had the moon card.
Okay.
Way
Just
to
better
go,
not
Christy.
have that scary damn hand there.
Okay. What'd you say?
You like that little hand.
That little hand? Did you see? I got the spirit medium
Look.
hand. Can we see this? And then I got a baby hand from somebody else. We went into a store called Ravencraft. It's a beautiful store. Have you ever been in there? In Denver, Ravencraft?
In Denver?
In Denver, yeah.
It's a beautiful store. Pamita and Jim were there. You may have to talk because
Yeah,
you can't
Jim
tell.
and Pamita were there, and Jim was telling us about it. They were actually doing classes and readings over there. And so he's like, y'all need to come over and check it out before you leave town. So we ran over. I would say, overall, it probably has more of a witchy vibe type store, but very
Beautiful.
cool layout, very clean, it had a great atmosphere, just amazing atmosphere to it.
We
I'll have
loved
to
it.
look the next time I'm in town. I lived in Denver for about 10 years, but they must have come in after I left, which is just rude.
Yeah, this is a new one. They had a smaller location before, and they actually have a larger. Her husband is a tattoo artist, so he has his office there. And I saw a couple of chairs, a couple of tables over there. They have several, tattoo artists over there. This was on Monday, and they were working middle of the day, so that's pretty good and promising.
It was a very industrial feel, very cool vibe to the store. But I got this necklace. It's a little hand. It's the medium hand, the lily hand. And then I got these, look at this, these 2 of Swords earrings, you guys. Can y'all see? Yeah, they're so pretty. Called the 2 of Swords, but they stabbed me.
I got a
stabbed me.
T-shirt.
Of course you did.
Well, I looked for a knife. They didn't have any knives.
Yeah, he usually gets a knife. They did have a knife. They had a little bitty pocket
yeah,
knife,
they did
but
have that little
that's
knife,
not a
but
Roger
It
knife.
wasn't a Roger knife.
A little bitty
See,
knife's not going to work for Roger.
Roger knife.
That's a knife.
All right. Another thing I wanted to ask you about, Arwen, because we're pretty blunt, and if you can't hear me, we'll have Roger ask it. Yeah, we're both pretty blunt. This was a question that was asked to one of the speakers at the end the other day. At the end of her speech, they asked her, one of the participants asked her, how do you avoid drama when you're successful? And avoid what am I trying to say? The barbs? Anyway, what am I trying to say?
I have no idea what you're trying to say.
The stuff that comes at you, the shit that comes at you when you're successful. How do you, her answer was kind of like, that's their stuff, that's not mine, I had to get used to it, and it does happen. You're very successful. What do you do to deal with that and avoid it?
Well, when I'm in my higher self in my good place, I just smile and nod and don't respond. When I'm in my Louisiana girl place, I will say things, wow, your mother must be proud of you to say something like that.
I know.
And that's me, right? That's nasty. And it just feeds into the drama. But people too often get jealous of somebody instead of working on their own stuff. I can't be Starhawk. I can't be Margot Adler. I can't be Z Budapest, right? All these big name witches. I can't be Teresa Reed or Carrie Paris. I would be a sucky Carrie Paris. I'm a damn fine Arwen though. And I have to remember that that's my thing. And I do my hula hoop. I don't know if y'all heard me talk about that, but I can only control what's in my hula hoop. And I spread my arms out like I'm holding a hula hoop. And if it doesn't fit in that hula hoop, no, not mine.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I like that.
It's better than mine.
What's yours?
Fuck off.
Did you hear his?
His
hula hoop is...
Fuck off. Sorry.
Roger, you're
that's his higher
to
self.
Mexico, and we're going to teach you. I'm going to put you in a hula hoop and videotape it so I have it as blackmail evidence later.
And that's his higher self. I would hate to hear him in his lower self.
It has a few more verbs in it.
Oh my goodness. Well, I think that's great advice. You actually in Denver were you were showing me, we had invisible hula hoops and we were trying to hula hoop, and it was quite interesting because
it was.
Did you see it?
Yes, I did. You didn't think I saw that. But
Did you videotape it?
Oh, God, I wish I had. Talk about blackmailing.
Why? Because Arwen was good at it, right? She knows how to move, but what was I doing?
I've seen her video on there.
How long do I hold the hula hoop up?
She doesn't hold the hula hoop up. Don't let her kid you.
That's a bit of a problem when whatever's in my hula hoop, when I can't even keep the hula hoop up. Now there we go. Write a story on that.
Sometimes you need a really small hula hoop.
No, I just need to learn to move my hips better.
Yeah.
Oh, well, do we want to play our game? What
We're
time
gonna
is
play
it?
a game?
Yeah.
That's great.
Is it time for a game, Erica?
Yep, it is.
Oh.
Can you hear me, Arwen?
I can.
Awesome. All right, so I'm going to ask each of you a question, and you can write down your answer. Roger and Michelle, you have a dry erase board, and Arwen, if you've got a piece of paper. And then
I
we want
don't.
to just see what you guys come up with.
The writer doesn't have a piece of paper.
Arwen, be prepared.
She's ready.
We're
All right.
fancy. Oh, wow.
Do we have theme music for this?
Ooh.
No, we don't.
No, damn.
Erica's going to sing it.
That's not going to happen. All right, your first question is, what would be the worst name for a restaurant?
And we want everybody at home to play along.
I'm
You
gonna
can put it in the
these
chat.
comment.
Oh my
What would be the
gosh.
worst name for a restaurant? Okay.
I always wanted to open a restaurant. Wait, this is going to be kind of dirty though.
Surprise, surprise. Get in your higher self, okay?
It still will be dirty. What was that name of that restaurant I wanted to order that time? Here, I'll be nice.
Aw.
No, tell them about your restaurant. No, don't. It was a good idea, actually. I think we would probably make some
Actually,
really good
I'm
money.
gonna do this one, and then I'm gonna tell you my idea for my restaurant, that my money making restaurant.
Okay, so Arwen, you go first. What's yours? Are we ready?
I don't you know if you can read it.
Pulled wieners.
Pulled
See there?
Well, I went just like a little more literal because everything I thought of had to do with poop. So I put, can you see?
The rat dropping.
The rat droppings.
Oh.
Ew.
Okay, I
Well,
know.
I would do probably a seafood place. We could call it Finding Nemo.
It's supposed to be bad. Oh, that is kind of bad because we'd be eating the. Oh, poor Nemo.
So we got a couple comments. Neil said leftovers, diabetes,
Diabetes. Yeah, I saw that.
roaches and pouches,
Ooh.
flatulence.
Ugh.
See, we have a bunch of those restaurants here, like Twin Peaks and all of them. I always thought we should have the women's version, and we call it, have a couple of guys working in there. See, I would think about the money side of it. We're gonna
Yeah.
call it cock and bulls, and we serve chicken and beef.
He's totally serious. He wants to have
I just
guys
don't-
waiting on people, and we call it cock and bulls. And he totally wants to open that. What do y'all think?
I think that could maybe
We could close
work.
Soultopia and open Cock and Bulls restaurant. I swear he has talked about this for years. All right, what's the next
All right,
question?
our next question. If you were arrested with no explanation, what would your friends and family assume you had done?
Oh my gosh. No, that's mean. I can't put that. I don't know. What did you put?
Oh, I'm going first this
Yeah,
time?
you're going first.
Summoning an apocalyptic demon.
Arwen, what did
I
you
will
get?
put mine after that. Arwen?
Slapped Trump.
And after Roger summoned the demon, they would assume I killed Roger. I love Roger.
All right. Next question. If you were wrongfully put into an insane asylum, how would you convince them that you're actually sane and not pretending to be sane?
First of all, let me just say for all of you who think you could do that, forget about it because they just make you feel like you're crazy. Because, have you ever been to a psychologist where you say, they try to get you to say, tell us it's vanilla, and you finally say it's vanilla, and they go, no, it's chocolate. You can't ever win this argument. I'm just going to tell you this right now. They'll make you feel crazy. That's my answer. What's the question?
If you were wrongfully put into an insane asylum, how would you convince them that you're actually sane and not pretending to be sane?
Got this one. I nailed it.
All right, Roger, what do you have?
Tell them that Bigfoot and aliens are fake.
Tell them that Bigfoot and aliens are fake. You would never, ever even admit that. You couldn't even say that with a straight face because you totally believe that they are real. I put, couldn't do it. I'm batshit crazy.
I would do the opposite of everything I do.
That means you're batshit crazy too.
Neil said the same thing. Talk to me for about a minute and you know I'm not sane.
What's the definition of sane?
All right, the next question is a two-part question. How long would you last in a zombie apocalypse, and what would your weapon of choice be?
All right, Arwen, you're first.
Okay. I'd last 5 minutes top because I'd go to the mall to get eaten by the zombies because I don't like leftovers.
That's the best answer. I said 1 second, I would run, then I'd just say screw it. I'd give up.
I put long time, I'd live on the ocean, and I'd use a samurai sword because there can only be one.
I think you watched Fear the Walking Dead and all those. Because that's what they did. I watched all of them. Yes, I watched all of
Michelle
them.
and I would be zombie sisters.
I mean, why not? I mean, then you don't have to worry about anything. You're just like zombieing around.
Till I come around. Chop.
But you don't know. You're just like, whatever. Is there another question?
I've got 2 more questions.
Okay.
All right. If you could hack into any one computer, whose would you choose?
Ooh.
Ooh. Well, not Trump's because he tells us everything already. So we don't even have to hack into his because he just puts everything on. He tweets it all. So we don't have to do that.
Oh, here we go. You'll like this, Neil.
I don't know. I have nothing clever. Oh, No. What'd you put?
Wait, I'm not done yet.
Arwen,
Let
what'd you
Arwen go
put?
first.
That one's hard. Arwen,
Uh-huh.
what'd you put?
I said Area 54, but then I corrected it and remembered it was Area 51. I wanna know the truth.
Area 51, look.
We got
This
a
should
match.
be match
ding,
game.
ding, 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 ding. We got a match. We said on the way here that we should play match game. They got a match. I didn't play. I have no idea.
All right. Well, I got one more question for you.
Okay.
What is the worst advice that you received and actually listened to?
Oh, shit. Mm.
Ugh. I don't know.
That one made you think.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot. This would be, I'd have to fill the whole thing.
Here, I got it.
Claudia said, move to Florida.
Claudia, yeah.
I
Leslie
told you
said,
I
marry
told
him.
you not to go.
Who else said?
Leslie said, marry him.
Ah. Oh, yeah, now I got that one.
Woo, woo, woo.
Okay, what's yours, Roger?
My mother telling me I couldn't do something.
Mm-hmm. Well, tell the story a little bit, because there's a little, just a briefly story.
Which one? But there's well,
No, I know which one.
okay, so there was a time that I lived basically on the Tennessee River all the time, every day. And my passion at that time was I jet skied and water skied. I was on the river doing stuff all the time. So I found this school in Florida that I wanted to go to that actually taught you how to repair and maintain jet skis. This was when jet skis just became popular.
Oh, my God.
They weren't even popular yet. They had just kind of hit the market, you know. And so my plan was to go there. I actually already had a place to work on them and everything. All I had to do was actually go do their 6-month course on how to do it and come back and open my business. And she had a fit that I was going to Florida for 6 months. And so I never did it.
Aw,
I kind of figured out some of it myself, though, on my own.
I'm not surprised. What about you, Arwen?
That I would be a bad candidate to go into marine biology school because of my dislike of dissecting things. And I still to this day wish I'd done it because I think I would have made a hell of a marine biologist.
Yeah, I bet. Isn't it interesting that 2 of the stories, and my long story has something to do with career too, and things, aspirations when we were younger. Kind of something to that. You know, we should pursue what we want to pursue and not let other people kill our dreams, right? I also think that's because kids also, people come into Earth with a purpose, and sometimes parents or other people try to change the purpose of people, and they try to make the purpose be what their purpose, what they want. That, help me say this. Do you get what I'm trying to say? You do, Arwen, right? You feel me? Yeah, because we come in and we incarnate and we have a purpose, and when somebody tries to get that purpose to be what they want the purpose to be, you can really do damage to somebody, I think.
All right, we've got about 4.5 minutes left. You want to do some reading?
Yeah, let's do some readings. Arwen, are you down to help us with a couple readings? Got it.
She got her cards.
Okay. So these are one of Arwen's decks, Secrets of the Mystic Grove, and she will be reading with this deck. And if you will, the first one to answer with the name of Arwen's magazine that we talked about earlier, will win one of her decks. Okay, so the first one that's live that answers with the name of Arwen's magazine, she even described the meaning of the word earlier. So the first one to do that will win, but we'll go ahead and start reading in the meantime, okay?
All right, so we're going to do a reading for Claudia for her birthday.
For Claudia. Hello, Claudia. Happy birthday. Yesterday, right? Claudia is one of our readers, Arwen. Claudia, and she's been on our show before, Claudia celebrates her birthday like all month long.
She's been talking about her birthday for 2 months.
Is that a Mexico thing, or is that just a Claudia thing?
It's a Claudia thing.
Okay.
She's been talking about it for 2 months and how we need to go back to that rooftop bar, drink 2 bottles of tequila.
I didn't drink 2 bottles of tequila. That was you. Okay, so I'm reading with a deck that was given to me this weekend. It's called, have you seen this one, Arwen? It's called Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot. And that's what I'm reading with.
I'm going to have
tonight.
to, just on the thing, I'm going to just have to go out with the, Leslie, your spelling was a little off, but I think you actually had it.
Closest.
You had it the closest, Leslie. You just spelled it wrong.
Okay, so Leslie won Arwen's deck, and we'll get with you later. We have several of Arwen's decks. One of the new ones is coming in, so we'll let you choose which deck you want. We'll deal with that later, okay? But congratulations, that's a big
Way
deal.
to go.
All right, so we're reading for Claudia. What's the question?
Birthday reading.
Birthday reading.
Okay, so let's do a lightning round, maybe one card each
Okay, one card
Okay.
each for
Claudia's
Claudia.
birthday.
These cards are brand new. I've never read with them.
All right, you want to start, Arwen?
I will. I pulled Awakening. Let me get it.
It's beautiful.
It's a gorgeous card, and Awakening is the very first card in this deck. And it is about Claudia awakening, getting alert, coming into right now and beginning that project. This is a card that says the project you've been thinking about, the one you keep kicking around and thinking, maybe, get on it. You are a Gemini, and if you don't start, you'll never finish. So put it down on paper and then start writing the steps to get to it. But you have got this in the bag, so happy birthday.
Very good. Do you want me to go?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I got the Devil card, and what I get for you, Claudia, is that you have a couple things that you are sort of tied up with and bound to a little bit right now that you know about and that you're trying to cut loose from. You're real good at that. You're real good at breaking free of things that you don't need to be bound to. When you break free of those couple things, you're going to be right on what Arwen just said. And I think you know how to do that better than most people. So I think that ties on into Arwen's reading to going for it. Go.
Okay, so I pulled the Sun card.
Ah,
So the Sun card, and for Claudia, you always have a great outlook of life anyway, except for moving to Florida. But you really do have that good outlook of life, and I think just carrying that forward every day with you is the most important part of being very successful with all of these new adventures that you're going into.
Yeah. Very good.
All
Do we
right,
have time for another one?
Yeah, we're going to do one more quick round. This is from a user on YouTube. I'm not going to even try to pronounce the name, but they said, "Can I get a reading? I had a dream about getting ready for space travel and time traveling."
Okay. So
So
the
we're
question,
asking about
there's not really a question. They're just saying they had a dream about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll just say, what information does this person need to know regarding this dream? What, Arwen, do you want to frame that question any differently?
Yeah, I was just, what is the dream saying? What is the
Yeah.
dream pointing towards?
Okay.
What information are we coming through?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, these cards are horrible.
Well, I'm glad we didn't say the name of the cards since you just said they were horrible. These are not Arwen's cards that
These
he's
are not
reading
Arwen's
with.
cards at all.
Uh-huh.
These cards came from, where did I get these cards?
Well, they're the ghost cards.
They're the-
It's not that they're
Yeah.
horrible, that you just
They're
haven't
sticky.
used them.
I
They're
haven't
sticky.
used them enough, so they're sticky. I need
It's
to put
Lisa
some,
Hunt's Ghosts and Spirits.
yes.
Yeah. They're not horrible. They're
No,
just,
they're not horrible. It's just they're sticky because I haven't used them enough.
yeah. All right. So are you starting or are you still messing with your
I'm
cards?
still messing with my cards.
Okay.
Here, I'll start. What
All
card did I
right,
pull?
go for it.
Four of Cups.
They said space travel and
Space
astral travel.
So this is a Four of Cups. What's cool about this card actually is there's a lot of faces in the background of this card. So, and it actually looks like the person isn't just, they're not flying, but looks like they're falling. So, I would say you might want to start focusing in on kind of some of the stuff that's going on around you, some of the things that you are not seeing, but the things outside of your control, and start paying attention to those things to focus in.
It's interesting because what I got is different than what I thought before I pulled the cards. But what I get is that it feels like you're wanting a bit of an escape. And you might want to be careful about that. It may be that during this space travel or this, let's say, astral travel, which are different things to me, but without giving a lesson about what astral travel really is, because I think some people sometimes misunderstand that. I think that's very interesting. But I'm getting a message of make sure that you're not wanting to escape some things, and I'm getting specifically some emotional family matters that you might need to be dealing with now. That's what I'm getting and receiving for you. Arwen?
And I pulled the key, which is mystery. It's actually mystery, moving forward, and knowledge. So there's something eluding you, and I agree, because Roger's card for me is about not paying attention to what's being offered and worrying about what's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle's talking about, moving forward and getting to that point. And this is about chasing the mystery. Let the mystery be a mystery and enjoy the journey.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting because we are going to have, just as an aside, someone who's going to come and do a class on astral travel. She believes that a lot of the information out there, because she astral travels a lot, she disagrees with a lot of the information out there. And so she's going to come and she's writing a book, actually, and she actually is writing the book. And it's a workbook class, and she's going to come teach it. Mm-hmm. And I think we already maybe have it on the books. And we've talked a lot about it because she has a very varying view. A lot of people say, you get lost out in astral travel land and things like that. And I don't want to go into it too much right before we stop, but it'd be a good show because she doesn't agree with all that. So she has a different perspective on it than a lot of other people have on it. Erica, is that our time?
That's our time.
I wanted to say to Arwen, we really wanted to mention your Seek Joy. And could you just briefly speak about that before we leave and before we wrap up?
Seek joy, y'all, is my phrase that saved my life. Back in 2008, I had a massive meltdown over a relationship. And I was writing about it, and I wrote, what if my life's purpose were simply to seek joy? How hard would that be? And you know what? It is hard. It's not an easy thing. But I go through depression. I am clinically depressed, y'all. My brain fights against me. But I seek joy in order to focus on what I can control. I can control being happy about seeing a hummingbird feeder outside my window. I cannot control being mad about something I saw on the news. And if I allow myself all that negativity, it literally pulls me down into a negative spiral that I have at one point almost not gotten back out of. So seek joy, y'all, is my way of saying, go do something that brings joy into your world. And it can be little bitty. Seek joy, y'all. Isn't getting the Mercedes and the carport. It's not a convertible Range Rover. Just saw one. Weird. Mm-hmm. It's a kid's laugh. It's finding a penny on the floor. You know, it's little tiny things, and they snowball into this bigger thing until you finally, that's what I want to do. If you follow me on Instagram, look for hashtag the number 3 daily joys and join in. Because sometimes my daily joys are things like, one, did not slap the shit out of so-and-so.
I didn't get hit on
that was
weekend.
A win.
I was with you for 4 days. I didn't get hit a time. That's pretty good. I'm gonna mark that as mine.
Well, thank you. And we will put, again, all the links to Arwen's, where you can find Arwen, and we will put that. Erica will put it on our SoulWhat page. You guys, we want to tell everybody listening how much we love this lady that we have had on today. We've gotten to know her quickly, but I feel like we've known her in other lives. Seriously, yeah. I'm not just saying that. Roger and her really kid a lot. But she's a beautiful lady. I'd love for you guys to follow her and follow her work, get her cards, get her book. I think we might have shown a picture of her book. If we didn't, we'll post all the books later. We did. And so thank you so much for coming on, Arwen. I know we were going to have you later on in the month, so thank you for coming on quickly and with such short notice.
You're very welcome. I love you guys, and to everybody that's watching, one thing we don't hear enough is I love you. So I want you to hear this from me and know that I'm speaking to you. Yes, you. I love you. Seek joy, y'all.
Oh, wow. So thanks for everybody for joining us. And until next time.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Arwen.